And thank you so much for coming in. Today we have an instructor from the adult education schools, and we also have a resource teacher, Anel Martinez. So I will go to them to introduce themselves, and so you can learn more about the wonderful program that we have here.
Good morning. My name is Anel Martinez. I'm the CTE resource teacher for Adult Division. And we have this morning here with us Maria Gonzalez, our culinary art instructor. Maria.
Hi, everybody. I don't even know when I'm on. I'm sorry. So here I am. My name is Maria Gonzalez, and I teach at Chula Vista Adult School. I have 41 years of experience in the bakery field. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you this morning. Today we have a presentation for you to learn the art of baking and learn more about our culinary courses at our schools and learn more of the things that can lead to employment when it comes to taking these courses. If you're also a student enrolled at Sweetwater CTE in the different high schools, you can learn about the different pathways as well and how to connect to our adult schools too, leading to college articulation or higher education or employment. Next slide, please. So we have 4 different sites at Sweetwater Adult Education. We have Chula Vista Adult School, National City Adult School, Montgomery Adult School, and San Isidro Adult School. Our 3 culinary courses can be found at Chula Vista Adult, Montgomery Adult, and National City Adult School. Next slide, please. Okay, Maria, do you want to take over the slide?
Yeah, well, there's a picture of me, and that's in Chula Vista. The cool thing is, in Chula Vista, we're getting a whole new room, everybody. So we're getting new paint, new flooring, new counters. So it'll be a really nice setting for everybody. Then we have Myrna, who is at National City, an awesome teacher. And we have Adriana Ventura, who is working at Montgomery Adult School.
Very good. Next slide, please. So the first program that we're going to talk about today, or the first course, is Culinary Arts, Bread, Pastries, Desserts, and Cakes. So you can see this is our instructor, Myrna Schaff. Teachers alternate from course to course every semester. For example, Myrna Schaff is teaching breads, pastries, desserts, and cakes this semester. But next semester, she'll be moving to cake decorations and high-end chocolate. As you can see from this picture, can anyone tell me what you see there?
The purse.
Yes, right? This is made out of cake, and you can see the embellishments, right? So not only are you learning how to bake a cake, but you learn a lot of different techniques and skills to ensure, if you ever seen like the Cupcake Wars or the different cake programs on television, that you're learning techniques as the ones that you're seeing there to make you a better asset in employment when it comes to the high-end couture of cake decorating. Would you like to add anything else, Maria?
Yes, what Myrna is using right now, she's making a purse and she's using fondant. So you will be learning about fondant, gum paste, and different decoration techniques.
So this whole course is concentrated on breads, pastry, desserts, and cakes. Next slide, please.
Do you want me to take over?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, as you can see here, we have some cream puffs. So this is an introduction to decorating and serving attractive pastries, cookies, breads, rolls, pies, crust, and other desserts. So we don't just limit it to only breads, but we do a whole section of desserts, pastries, and cakes. Next slide, please.
And the duration of these courses are 18 weeks. And those courses are also articulated with college credit to Southwestern College. So what does this mean? That although you're attending adult schools, you're enrolled in a college level course with high academic rigor. And Maria is going to let you know more about it. But one of the things that we have implemented right now virtually for our courses is that we have KP curriculum. And KP curriculum is aligned with industry. It's also aligned with the competencies for each course that students should be able to pass at the end of every semester. So all students that cross through our courses for culinary will receive 3 units of college articulation credit course through Southwestern College. Maria.
Yes, and that's for every one that you take. So if you're going to be taking the breads, you'll get 3 credits for that. And if you take the cakes, that'll be 3 credits for that. So that'll be a total of 6 credits for college credits. Now, as you see is this picture right here, there are some quick breads. Quick breads are scones, biscuits, different kinds of very fast breads. And then we have the yeast breads. We have flatbreads, which would be pizzas, pitas, ciabattas, or we have laminated doughs too. So these are some of the pictures from our classes. Next slide, please. Okay, what we also do, we mass produce. In order to get into a decorating field, you must know how to do everything fast and in production. As you can see here, there's a production line that we are doing, and these are the French macaroons, where this is one of the types of cookies that we are going to be teaching you. There are several types that we will teach you, but right now this is one of the ones that is more popular, as you know, the French macaroons. Next slide, please. These are our cheesecakes. Now the cheesecake's traditional, we're going to teach you, but also we go over and beyond a cheesecake. We could put it inside a cake, we could put it outside the cake. We do so many styles of cheesecakes. This is just one of the cheesecakes that in this class was produced. Next slide, please. Okay, these are hands-on, so everybody must do their own product. We get in teams, which is very important to learn to work in a team. As you know, any job, you're going to have people and you're going to have to learn how to become a team member. And this is one of the things that we do make sure that you do learn, because it's important working in teams. And these are some of the productions that they are doing. Also, we give you a lot of safety and sanitation classes. By the end of our program, you should have your food handler's card, and we're implementing now the Serve Safe program. So these are very important certificates that you must have in order to go to work. Next slide.
Maria, and can you tell us a little bit about the Safe Serve certification? What does that look like, and what can a student do with that certification?
Yes, the Serve Safe certification is for 5 years, and that certification is good throughout the whole United States. The food handler is good for San Diego County, and that's good for 3 years. But the Serve Safe is an upper certification for upper management, and that takes you a little bit higher. In fact, I got a student that was hired in just this semester, and the reason she got hired, everybody came in with the food handler's card, but she came in with the Serve Safe certification, and she just got a job here at a program for the county, and she's getting paid $20 an hour, and this is her first job ever, so she's very, very happy. So yes, that's the difference between one or the other.
And before we move on to the next slide, Maria, this is actually a picture taken from one of your classes, and this is the attire of the uniform, right, that the students are using in class. Would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, one of the things that we do require is for you to come in a uniform, always wearing your hat, obviously, because in the job, you'll always have to wear a covering for your hair. And this makes you look a lot more presentable, and it gives you a sense of class, especially even though maybe you're going to say, I'm just going to work from home. Even taking that cake or that pastry to a party and you dressed up in a uniform, it gives you a little bit of more power, or, it makes you look more presentable.
Professional, yes.
Professional, thank you.
Yes. Next slide, please.
Okay, this is another type. This is puff pastry. As you can see, that was a Napoleon, and then the pies and different types of desserts that we're going to be teaching you.
So with this Napoleon, Maria, can you tell us a little bit more about the procedure? How long does it take for the students to be able to acquire these type of skills? And how many times do you do these pastries over and over so that you can measure the competency if the student is doing this appropriately?
Yes, what we do, we give a demonstration in front of you. That way you can see the actual making of this dessert. Then we put you in a team, which you will do the same thing, and then you present it, and then we taste it. Basically, we all taste each other's. That way we can say if it was good or it was underdone or this is the procedure. So it does take a whole team effort in order to present this.
And I imagine that you do all the tasting?
Yeah, me and some of the students too, yes. Okay, next slide. Okay, as you can see here, we have wedding cakes. Where the money is, guys, is the wedding cakes. Okay, wedding cakes, you charge a lot more money and you have different levels. You could do a very basic wedding cake. And right now, the techniques are so easy, guys. So easy that you can make a cake with, it's called the naked cake. Basically, you don't even have to decorate it. You just have to put some icing on it and some fruit or some fresh flowers, and that's a wedding cake where you can make up to $500 to $600 when you invest maybe $60 in it. So these are the things that we're going to be teaching you from the top to the bottom. I mean, we have a naked cake on the very bottom, and we have an elegant cake on the side, and these are all made in class.
And Maria, one of the things I learned from all three of the instructors and from you as also is that culinary is like fashion, right? Techniques are changing, the skills are changing, and a cake that could have been in 6 months ago, maybe in maybe years from now, but that this is an industry that's quite changing all the time, right? And so can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, of course. Let me tell you something. I've been in the industry for 41 years, like I said. It's changing a lot. Back in the day, everything was done handmade. I mean, all these little lines, these techniques that were really, really hard. Now they're simpler. They're very attractive. They're using a lot of fruits. So it does change. And sometimes the old comes back in, so we got to learn both of them. So yes, the industry is completely changing. As you can see, the cakes inside of it with the color, you know, that recently came out with different colors. So these are trending, and we go by the trend of that year. That's how we're teaching you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, these are 18-week courses. As you can see, we do different kinds of designs, and this is from inside the classroom, and you can see that our students are working on them. Okay, next slide. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now we're going to go on to cake designs and chocolate high-end decoration techniques. So this course goes a little bit more in depth. You're going to learn decoration techniques and how to utilize a chocolate, and also more of the high-end, the more couture type of decorating. So as you can see from this picture, this is our instructor, Adriana Ventura Cesena. And what you see displayed on this table is all made out of chocolate and cake and decorating techniques, more of a high-end. Next slide, please.
Okay, so this one introduces to chocolate techniques and different levels. So design on wedding cakes, tier cakes, high-end, and decorations. The cake that you see right there is made out of gum paste and fondant, and obviously buttercream on the end. And if you can see, it's a little bit lopsided because that was a technique that was being used around 2 years ago. So again, we have 3 units of credit on this course also. Go ahead, next slide, please. Okay, as you can see, the technique right here on the left-hand side, that's a chocolate technique. And we also show you how to present it. Look at the way the students have presented it. And it looks very professional looking. Okay, next one. Okay, these are from our students. As you can see, everybody's in a team. Everybody presents their cake, and they're beautiful. Okay. Next.
Yes, and again, these are all 18-week courses. They meet from Monday to Thursday, morning and evening classes. So you have your practicum, you have your academics embedded into their practicum as well, and your presentations throughout the course.
Very good. Thank you. The next one. Okay, again, more high-end techniques. On the side, you can see there's painting on it. For those of you that have a little bit of art, I mean, we've done competitions throughout San Diego, and our students have come on top. So we do teach a lot of very high-end techniques. Okay. Next slide.
And Maria, before we go on to this slide, how can you relate baking to art?
Oh, baking to art. I'll be very honest with you. I feel I don't have a lot of art, but I know how to draw because of the secrets that I've endured in my industry. So I could do any cake, but I have methods that even though I'm not an artist, I could do. Then we have these students that do have a lot of art that they don't need my techniques because they already have them in there. I could give you a little story really fast. I had a student from high school come in and her mom was taking my class and I taught her how to paint with chocolate. So a technique that I use to paint with chocolate on a cake. So she comes in, she's around 18 years old and she goes, Maria, could you teach me how to paint with chocolate? I go, yeah. So I come out with a Tweety bird, you know? And she goes, no, I want you to learn this one. It was Frida with a parrot on her shoulder with palm trees in the back. And I look at her and I go, Mia, I know how to do Tweety bird. I don't know that much art, but I could give you the technique. And she goes, yeah, all I need is the technique because I've been drawing since I was small. So I gave her the technique that I was using with the oils and the chocolate and melting it, putting it together. So I gave her the technique. My goodness gracious, guys. When I was finishing the class with the Tweety birds, when I looked and she goes, I'm done. She showed me her masterpiece. It was a wall art. To make the story short, she ended up going into my classes. I taught her the art of cocoa painting, and she won first place in the La Jolla Cake Show. And her design came on a baking magazine. That's how good she was. So there's people that have art in them, and those of you that don't get scared because I don't feel like I do, but I could teach you tricks to do it. Okay.
That's very good to know because many individuals believe that you have to have a lot of artistic
No.
skills in order to go to bakery, right? Especially when you see programs on television that display so many different techniques and skills and you're like, wow, very artistic. But like you're saying, there's a lot of different techniques that can be utilized to achieve.
Yes, yes.
Baking.
I mean, it's all about the tricks. And as instructors and all the experience that I've had, I know the shortcuts to making things look good and teaching you your art inside of you to come out. Yeah.
And I imagine, and even making those custard fillings or fillings that go into the cakes is also like in art, right? Trying to connect, making those chemistry of flavors to go into the cakes as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, well, basically with me, you're going to get a lot of bases. For me, it's a base. And then here comes you, the person. In Spanish, it's called sazon. That means I have a flavor. Anel will have her own flavor. You have, especially when we come from different cultures, we have different flavors. So I'll give you the base and I'll teach you how to put in the flavor that you want. That way, Anel's cake might be better than mine because she has a better flavoring than ours. So it's a base that we do, and then we throw in what we feel is better for us and our flavors and the way we've been brought up. Yes.
So you're giving a foundation of how to do something, a technique, and then a student can add their own technique, right?
Yes.
And culturally, we see that we play around with different flavors, right? And seasonings, right? So now for cakes, we could add our own cultural flavoring to that as well, right?
Exactly. A lot of people think that making bread is very difficult. If you join the class, you will see that I make it so simple. You will be surprised how easy it is really to make breads.
So I'm seeing in this picture bread, right?
Yes.
So you show different techniques on how to make breads. And I'm sure there's also some kind of foundation with making breads that you can move on to making breads in a more elaborate way with seasoning and flavorings, right? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, for example, I give you a base on French bread. But that French bread, I can make it into a jalapeno cheese bread. I can make it into an onion bread. I can make it into a tomato bread. I mean, I could go on and on with my base. It's important to have a really solid, good base in order to do this. But this is where the teacher and the experience that she has will help you. One of the things that's different from my class is I don't use a lot of books. I use a lot of experience that I've had throughout all the years of teaching.
And again, these courses are a lot of hands-on, right?
Yes, they are. Of course they are. And if you come into our classes, and we're going to be back in class, you'll be walking out with a lot of breads every day to take home and have your family enjoy them.
Slide, please.
Okay, this is a chocolate technique. As you can see, they're making the Eiffel Tower. There's so many things that you can see as techniques for chocolate. And let me tell you something that's different now. Right now, there's so many things on the internet, on YouTube, okay? The difference, because I have students that want to come back, and I go, I'm sorry, you can't come back, this is only a year. And they're, yeah. I go, there's a lot of techniques on YouTube. The difference between YouTube and us, that you got us right there. Not only are we using technology, but we're also using experience, and we're also there for you for any question that you got. Okay, and that's important. A lot of times you will see on the internet a finished product and they're beautiful, but they don't show you the errors that that could occur when you're doing something. And with me or with our students, you will see what could happen and how to fix the problem. And that way, it's not just learning. You want to know what could happen, what could go wrong, and how to fix the problems. And that's what we teach.
So looking at this right here, the Eiffel Tower that students have done, I want to know, how elaborate is this? How long does it take to create something like this?
Okay, this one is, this one's time consuming. This one probably took around 3 days to do. 3 days to do. And because it has to cool down, our classes are 4 hours long. So, and to build it and all that. So yeah, it does take a little bit more time for an elaborate thing like this.
And I'm seeing that there's utilization of white and dark chocolate, right?
Yes, both of them, 2 different ones. Of course, there's different colored chocolates. There's painting, there's gold paints. There's so many things that we can use with chocolate nowadays.
And when students produce something of this quality, what does something run like? What is the cost, or what can the students sell this for if they were to market their product?
Okay, well, let me tell you something that I did probably around 4 years ago. I made an art sculpture and we didn't have a lot of chocolate. So we carved out styrofoam and we covered it in chocolate. We made this humongous, beautiful centerpiece. If we had the bowls, we could have done it. But, you know, I teach them different methods again. From the Del Mar, the Grand Del Mar, I have a student and he called me up. And he goes, Maria, Juan showed me what you made. It's amazing. And he told me your technique. And I go, yes. And I started laughing. He goes, you know how much that would be? That would be a $7,000 project. I go, really? He goes, but with your technique, this gave me a lot of ideas for other techniques. So, you know, we do teach different techniques that maybe somebody else doesn't know. But yeah, they run up there thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Perfect. Next slide, please.
Want me to go on this one or you?
Sure. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Well, luckily, I know how to do baking and decorating. Now I'm doing the nutritious service class. This class is formatted for people that want to go into the culinary field. This gives you a basic training of how to get in. Now it's up to you how far you want to go. But in this class, I also do baking, as you can see. Say you go into a restaurant and they want to do a buffet, I teach you all the breads too, as you can see. These are more elaborate. Believe it or not, I did one of these classes. I also teach in jails where we serve around 22,000 people, okay? And there's a large Filipino population who works there with me. And so I teach all this because when you go into a restaurant, a buffet, you're going to see these elaborate breads. So that's why I teach these beautiful breads. And you could transfer them to food like pizza, calzone, or anything. a soup bowl. And so bread, I also teach in this class. And not only this class is formatted to teach you how to get into the school district. So if you want to work into the school district, this is a method. I also, like I said, I work for the county jails, and that's a very good program to get into. Also, in order to go work there, you need a class like this to help you get in there too. If I were young and starting my life over again, I would try to get into a government agency, either school districts or the county or the state, guys, because they do need a lot of people working for them in the culinary field.
Very good. Next slide, please.
Okay, well, these students of mine in the nutrition service acquire skills as a cafeteria assistant, pantry cooks, station cooks, cashiers, servers, dishwashers, beginning, and this is only a 9-week course, okay? Next slide, please. Is there another slide? Yeah. And as you can see, they're baking here too, and they're making their breads. And not only this, guys, I also teach you one of the things right now that's going on online, on Facebook, people are teaching classes, selling product. So if you want to become an entrepreneur and start your own business, we also teach you the methods of doing that. I teach them how to make the product, freeze the product, sell the product, how much it is, on a lot of things. So in this class, like I said, I give them a little insight of basically how to get a job, where to get a job, how to apply, make sure that they got their food handler's card or their serve saves, and get prepared for a job.
Next slide, please.
Okay, and this is about the nutrition. I train you on if you go work for the cafeterias, well, on the lunch cafeteria program that's mandated by the state. Also, if you're going to go into the jails, I also teach you the state mandated recipes from there and tell you stories that I have endured in the jails and in the cafeterias and in my own life about weights and measures and why it's important. Okay.
Next slide, please.
Okay, again, here we're looking at the nutrition side of the cafeterias because it's a state mandated program right there. They tell you what kinds of foods you can sell. Could I say another story real fast?
Of course, we have time. Yes.
Okay, so I got to tell you one of them. So when I went into work at jail, it was a big new program up there of me teaching. So one of the inmates came up to me and says, "Hey, Maria, could you please change the cornbread? And it tastes like sand." So I tasted it and it tasted so bad. So I go, "Yeah, of course I can." So I went in, and I'm talking about 500 pounds of dough, guys. So I put in sugar, I put a little bit more salt, I put cinnamon, I put whatever I wanted to. The inmates were so happy. Everybody came back. "Oh, Maria, everybody's eating the cornbread now." Like around a week later, a lady comes in a uniform, like a nurse. She goes, "Are you Maria?" And I go, "Yes, can I talk to you?" And I go, "Yeah." I thought she was going to congratulate me because I did this awesome cornbread. She goes, "Did you change the recipe?" And I go, "Yes, I did." She goes, "I'm so sorry, Maria. You cannot change the recipe." And I go, "Why?" She goes, "Because in state mandated programs, you cannot change the quantity of sugar because it affects inmates. If we give them too much sugar, they might become diabetic. If we give them too much salt, it'll affect them. If we give them too much fat, it will affect them." So I had to learn the knowledge of the nutrition in the state facilities and how they're mandated and how important it is to give them the amount of food that they say. If not, we're doing something wrong instead of something better. So I thought that was a way of me, boom, finding out about the state mandates. Yeah.
Yes, and one in our prior conversations, Maria, you were talking to me about how industry changes a lot too, and the focus on non-gluten products, right? And vegetarian products. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that impacts also your courses?
Yes. Well, as I learned growing in the field, we never had to worry about that. You know, the more sugar, the more fat, the more tastier it was. Now I'm finding out that people are wanting no gluten, sugar-free, keto friendly. So one of the things that I'm going to try to do this summer that I'm going to be off, I'm going to be making recipes that I like, because sometimes, as you know, you might get a recipe from the internet, you might get a recipe and you taste it and it doesn't taste good. So you as a baker have to tweak it in order to come out right. So that's one of the things I am going to focus on next semester, on different kinds of breads and food. Yes.
Thank you. Next slide, please.
This is just the presentation that my students have. In the background, you can see all the breads. Each person made a type of bread that they were going to display, and the display came out very beautiful. Okay.
And what I'm seeing from your pictures too is that not only are you showing them the techniques, the baking techniques or the cooking techniques that are required, right, for this course, but you're also showing them presentation, how to stage their product. So even working at a cafeteria, I imagine that even staging your product is very important for it to look appealing, right?
Of course, you just don't put a product out there. You have to put out the setting and making sure it looks beautiful because it represents you. For example, if you're going to put a wedding cake at just a normal table, it doesn't look as beautiful as if it would be on a special table with a special setting with some flowers around it or a theme. Yeah.
Okay. Next slide, please. Go ahead.
So these are employments where students could come in, and believe me, one of the good things that our program is coming into, and thanks to Anel, she's bringing in industry into our programs, more collaboration with restaurants, bakeries, you know, different places like restaurants, hotels, bakeries, casinos. I have a lot of students in the casinos that are in there, coffee shops, grocery stores, cookie factories, cafeterias, catering, desserts. I could keep going. Amusement parties, dessert chef, pastry chef, event planners, YouTube, baker, decorator, instructor, pastry chef. So as you can see, there's lots of jobs. And guys, now is the time to get in. People are really looking for people to work in our industry. Okay.
Yes, and if I recall, just alone this week, we heard of a student of yours that was hired at Paradise Valley Hospital, right?
Yes.
In the cafeteria. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's in cafeteria, and she got a job at the hospital. She's very happy, and she did an awesome job with me. So she right away put this application in, and she got hired, and she only wants to go up from there. Yes.
Next slide, please. Okay, so you might be asking yourselves, well, what can I do with these credits, or what kind of employments besides the ones that I heard, because it's not limited to just the employment opportunity that Maria just shared with you. But this is Anthony Vallejo, who was a student with Maria Gonzalez. And you're going to hear his own testimony on how he came out from the 712 high school district from Sweetwater, entered into Maria's courses, and now is petty chief officer in the Navy, running a whole crew when it comes to culinary. And Margaret, if you can click on the link. Yes.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony Vallejo, and I joined San Isidro Adult School Pastry and Bakery program right after I graduated high school. As soon as while I was in school, I got the opportunity of a job opportunity for a warehouse bakery. So that warehouse bakery name was S&S Bakery. So my job was to decorate pies, do cake orders, how to do donuts, how to do pastries and all sorts of mass production. Right after that, I started working for Vaughn's. For Vaughn's, I was pretty much doing the same thing, but I was doing more of ordering, how to do the cakes, breads, donuts, muffins, you name it, I did it. Right after that, I started working through the holidays for Costco. Costco, same thing. I was doing all the pies, all the doughs for dinner rolls. And right after Costco, I saw a job opportunity to become an instructor for Sweetwater School District adult school program. And that's when I became the instructor for nighttime for San Isidro Adult School. While I was teaching my students, most of my students at night were mostly veterans. So I was talking to them about the way I teach and the way what's called the military teaches. And I thought to myself, like, why not try the military now? So as of right now, I've been in the Navy for 2.5 years, and my job title is culinary specialist, petty officer, second class. So what I do now is I teach sailors how to bake and decorate out in sea. So pretty much the ship that I'm in, we feed over, I'll say like 3,000 people. So for each meal, we had to do desserts. So we do over 3,000 desserts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So as an advisor, industry advisor, I would tell teachers to teach more about time management, to teach students to be a little bit quicker. What else? Teach them how to read recipes. That's really important to understand the recipe, not just reading it, but to actually understand it. Another thing too, I would teach them is the basics. So once you go to the basics, it's just about practicing, doing how to decorating, how to do a name writing on the cakes, how to do the roses, and how to do dough. You gotta learn how to do actually how to do dough without the machine. So you never know if the machine breaks down or not. So things like this is like what gets you like a better skills on your job. Yeah, it's a little bit about myself.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Next, we have Yesenia Martinez, who is a product of our adult schools. Yesenia Martinez now teaches at Southwest High in the culinary program.
Oh, sorry, ladies, before I show the video, we do have about 4 minutes left in the session. So I can play the video or we can do a Q&A, whichever you prefer.
Try Q&A, no?
Yes, let's try the Q&A.
Okay. So this is time for our attendees to, if you have any questions at all, let me pull up the chat, as well as the Q&A option on your screen. If you have any questions about the program or any of the classes or the certificates that Anel and Maria mentioned, then please type it in the chat or in the Q&A box.
Does anybody want to know how much the program costs, how long it lasts, anything?
Yeah, can you talk about that? Well, maybe they're typing their questions out in the box. How much does it cost?
Okay, Nell, you want to take that?
Sure. All of our culinary courses or any CTE course in the adult division are free of cost, and it's going to continue that way for next school year. We do provide digital curriculum. In the culinary course, the only thing that you would have to invest in would be in your uniform. Maria, can you tell us more or less what the uniform costs?
The uniform will cost you around, if you go to Costco or something like that, maybe the whole uniform will be around $30. That means the top is $15, maybe the hat, and if you want to wear the pants, non-slip shoes. The other thing that they're going to be have to buy is some of the tools for decorating. That's about $25. Mm-hmm.
So just $25 for your tools, like a rough estimate. Your uniform, about another estimate of $30. And yes. Anything else that you might have to spend on or think about for courses?
Well, if it's going to be virtual, they're going to have to get flour, and shortening. And if they're going to be doing stuff at home, if they're going to be inside the classroom, then we provide everything for them.
Everything is provided, right? Mm-hmm. Great. Do we have any questions in the chat? So perhaps you want to learn how many hours a day do you meet with your instructor if you were in the school setting. So classes run from 8 in the morning to 12 in the day, 4 hours a day, 16 hours a week. And we also have the evening from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So that gives you the opportunity, if you have a daytime job, to go to your job and then come in the evening. Or if you are just taking courses, you can be co-enrolled in 2 courses so that you can take cakes, bread, pastries, and desserts in the morning, and then high-end chocolate and decoration techniques in the evening as well. And so we have very flexible schedules within those times, and you can co-enroll in those courses as well. Another important thing to remember is that our courses are articulated. Now, if we go into one more slide, Margaret, oh, well, no, there's a pathway from 712 for culinary. So if you complete that pathway or you're in completion of the pathway in culinary in the 712, you can come to us and also get more college credits with our culinary courses that we're offering, so that when you go out into the workforce, you're even more prepared. And so this is what the pathway looks like. If you're in the Sweetwater High School District, chances are that you can take the Introduction to Concentration to Culinary Arts, CT Culinary Arts, and CT Culinary Arts and Management. Then we offer the Nutritional Services Cafeteria Assistant course, the Breads, Pastry, Desserts, and Cakes, and Cake Design, Chocolate, High-End Decoration Techniques. So as you can see, they're very different courses. However, these courses do merge each other so that if when you go out into the workforce, you are better prepared. So one of the things that we learned this week too, speaking to employers, is that if you have the basics and the foundations, as you're hired, you're going to be learning those big recipes that restaurant chains are doing or small mama and papa restaurants are doing. You're going to learn their secrets as well too. So you get the foundation with us, which is very important. But on top of that, as you move on, you're going to learn even more secrets to lead you into the art of baking or in culinary. Maria, would you like to add anything else?
No, basically that's it. You know, it's up to you. If you want to get hired, your attitude is very, very important. And one of the things I try to do is teach you a little bit about customer service and what's important in order to get ahead in the company. That's basically it. And hopefully you guys refer somebody, or I don't know who we're talking to right now because I don't see nobody, but hopefully one of you come into my classroom and we can help you try to get a job.
Yes, I've also added my email in the chat in case you have any questions. Please reach out to me if you're interested in registration. If you have more questions, if you want to take next fall a 12-hour class, if you're not thinking yet of going into higher education or employment, come see us and we can provide the resources for you to take a tour of the courses. Hopefully we'll be back on campus. If we're not, we'll conduct our classes virtually. And so you have that opportunity to do that too. Okay, we are exploring with possibly a hybrid possibility to do these courses as well to fit the needs of students. Thank you for your time. We hope that you've enjoyed our presentation. Thank you, Maria, for being here with us, and Margaret for this invite.
And guys, it's open enrollment right now, so you could actually go into the school and enroll. Thank you.
Is it okay if I put the link to the PowerPoint in the chat? Because there was the information and the contact information for each site on there too.
Yes, please do, and share with everyone.
There it is. Thank you again, ladies, for coming, and thank you to our attendees for joining us today. If you are an SUHSD student, please remember to check the chat box for your attendance link. And then as Ms. Martinez just mentioned, you can also check the chat box for your email and the PowerPoint slides. Thank you again, and I'll see you all in session 2.